Hey friends, today I am going to go ahead and do a couple things. I'm going to play around with Revel's Holo dip powder in Raspberry Parade and then a chunky dip powder from GH that's called Fairytales. Pretty excited, it looks very pretty, you'll see here in just a second. Right now I am just going over my nails with a Keratin Bond by Triple Vitamin Dip. I've already prepped my nails, so I have tips on right now, and I've went ahead and built the apex with GH Natural. But this is the Raspberry Parade that we're looking at here. It's very pretty, very sparkly, so even before it gets chromed out, because it is a holo chrome, it's super shiny. Next we have the chunky glitter that I was talking about called Fairytales. Also very pretty. It's kind of reminds me of like dragon scales almost, but definitely has a pink, green, yellow, just fun tint to it. Thought it would match pretty well with that raspberry color. I'm going to go ahead and put the chunky glitter just on my index and then my ring finger. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Triple Vitamin Dip base. You'll see that I go in just kind of smooth here, make sure it gets covered all over the nail, and then I'm going to go ahead and dip it in there. So I'll let you guys watch as I add the first layer, and then I'll come back when I get to that second. Just pop in here real quick to talk about the chunky glitters and trying to get it to lay flat on your nails. So a lot of people do a pour over method with the chunky glitters where you just take it and kind of pour it over your nail after you add your base. I actually really like to dip it. I find it's easier to control, and then I just go in with that stick around the cuticle, make sure all of the extra glitter's off, and then pat it down as much as I can. So I will go ahead and go in with 2 coats on each nail, including the chunky glitters, just to make sure I cover up all those bald spots I may have on my fingers there. After that, I will go ahead and clear cap the glitter nails, the chunky glitters. For the chromed holo, you'll see kind of it is a different process, so I'll pop back in when it's time for that. Alright, so as I mentioned, I'm going back over my chunky powders with that natural. This is just to go ahead and make sure that when I'm filing and buffing, the glitter doesn't go everywhere. So everything that I just did isn't undone. The natural powder here, again, is by GHdip. I love that company. If you haven't checked them out, you definitely should. I'll go ahead and leave a link down below so you can check them out. But I do a double dip inside of here just to make sure, sometimes triple, just to make sure that it's all evenly coated. And again, this just hardens the top layer of the glitter, so when I file, it doesn't undo everything I just did. After I go ahead and dip this nail, I'm going to go in with the activator, let that sit for a minute, and then I'll go in with my e-file and my regular file to go ahead and file my nails down. I'll focus mostly on my cuticle line on the raspberry color, just because it applied very evenly. There's not very much that I need to do there. For the chunky glitters, however, I will need to go back in after I e-file, so basically what I'm going to do with the e-file is go ahead and buff that down, get it as smooth as possible as I can with that, and then I'm going to go in with a hand file to shape and buff it down even more. So go ahead and let you guys watch my process of buffing and e-filing, and I'll come back in when it's time to chrome. Things I wanted to pop in here and say. I realized that I am not in focus for most of the chunky glitter when I am e-filing those, and that's just because I was really focused on those to make sure that they were as smooth as possible. Another I wanted to say is that I am actually working on my dominant hand, so I'm using my non-dominant hand to e-file and paint on my dominant. I am left-handed, so I am holding the e-file very strange, but that's just because I am left-handed, so you get to see me work on my dominant hand with my non-dominant. So once I have my nails the way I want them, all smooth and great and wonderful, I'm going to go in with my little scrub brush, go ahead and get all of those little grainies off to make sure that they are nice and smooth for the chroming part. I'm going to go in with the Revel Tacky top coat, so this is what we're seeing here. Basically what I'm going to do is go ahead and apply an even layer to all of the raspberry colors. I'm going to get my UV light ready to go because you do need to bake the nails. So I'm going to apply an even coat of this gel to each nail, cure it for about 30 to 45 seconds, bring it back out and dip it into the powder again. You'll see me scrub that powder on with a little brush, and that is what effectively chromes it. After that, I'll stick it back in the UV light to bake for another 30 to 45 seconds, pull it out, put another top coat on, and then we are good to go. So I'll go ahead and let you guys watch that process here, and I'll pop back in with some final results. Alright, so here we are with the final result. I went ahead and did my other hand, actually did it yesterday. I have to say I love these colors. The Revel powder is so easy to work with. The chrome is so easy. I had a blast working with it. The chunky glitters are also a favorite of mine. So yeah, if you have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like to see me do, please just go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'm always happy to experiment, always happy to play around, and I'm always happy to do any type of tutorial. Thanks guys, have a good one.